When you look back at this year, what would you say the largest accomplishments of your administration have been? And then what would you say, in hindsight, we did a couple of things here that may not have been the best idea. What would you have done differently?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, as we commemorate this moment, it's really important to recognize the incredible toll that COVID took on our state and it is still taking on our state, right? Almost 16,000 Michiganders have lost their lives to this virus. That's over three 9/11 events that one state has sustained in 12 months. It's staggering when you think about it. And remembering how dire things were a year ago when we couldn't get enough masks to even get our hospitals through a weekend of shifts with ERs that were filled with COVID patients and an incredible death toll that was climbing so quickly every day. So I think that as we look back on this year, I'm grateful and inspired by the people of our state who have taken upon themselves to do their part. I'm grateful for Dr. Caldoun and the Department of Health and Human Services and University of Michigan School of Public Health and all the different people and groups that came together on Merck and to help advise us in our next steps that we take for re-engagement. So we've done, we followed the science. Studies have shown we saved thousands of lives. But of course, if I could go back in a time machine with all the knowledge we've accumulated, would we do some things different? Sure. But we have to recognize this has been a novel virus and we've been learning every step of the way and we've made adjustments so that we can protect people.
Let's talk a little bit about that federal funding that's coming to Michigan to recover from the pandemic. Explain how you see this working for Michigan and what your top priorities are.
So these resources give us an incredible opportunity to make some investments in things that will not just help us get out of this tough time we've been confronting, but to lay the groundwork for putting Michigan in a leadership position in a lot of ways. I think one of the concerns that I have, of course, is the legislature has been not moving federal funds to deploy them into our economy. We have to get past whatever it is that's holding them back, because when we have $5 billion coming into Michigan for the education of our kids, for the dissemination of our vaccines, help for small businesses, we can't let anyone get in the way of us getting that deployed into our economy. And unfortunately, that's what has happened. As we look to this new COVID relief bill, there are going to be so many resources, and the work we do in the next couple of months is going to set the tone for our ultimate economic resurgence and success. So whether it's meeting the needs of our children who have learning loss because of COVID, or it is helping small business get back on their feet, or it is the vaccination dissemination, we've got to get these done right, and we've got to find common ground together quickly, because minutes can be very costly if we're not deploying these resources.
Let's talk about it, which can only be described really as a power struggle between your administration, the Republican majority in the legislature that want to tie spending to reduced emergency authority. How do you explain to critics why the authority of the state health department, your ability to implement emergency parameters, should not be changed at this time and after this year?
Well, first, let me explain that these federal dollars have gone to every state, no strings attached. They are to be used, they are prescriptive, right? They are to be used for things like getting our kids back in school, vaccine rollout, to help small businesses. To say that these dollars won't be used for the benefit of the people of Michigan unless we take away the tools that the governor's used to keep us safe is dangerous on all fronts. These are dollars that were allocated, signed into law by Donald Trump, supported by a bipartisan group of our congressional delegation, that the legislature is looking backward and they're mad about things that happened last year, not putting $5 billion into our economy. These are dollars that will help us get back on track. So to say that they're only going to do it if I give up powers that they've been trying to take away for the last year, they know what the answer is. And so they're playing games with money that's so important for the people of our state. And so I'm hopeful that they will discontinue that so that we can deploy these resources and help our small businesses and our families get through this time.
Yeah, where's the common ground on that? Because people in Michigan might be saying, oh gosh, here we go again, power struggle, back and forth, nothing gets done. What do you say to that?
Oh, we're getting a lot of things done, and we will find some common ground. There's no question. Dealing with a legislature that wants to take executive powers away from the governor. I mean, we've been seeing this for the last few years. It's not surprising. It's disappointing, though, because we have to move fastly to get these resources deployed for the health of our economy.